Hello and welcome to That Board Game Show, a podcast all about tabletop gaming with two players. I'm Sonja Wood.
And I'm James Wood. And today on the podcast, episode number 30, we are talking to you about Quilts and Cats of Calico, a digital implementation of a board game. So that's something new. For the channel, that is. Not something new in the world. And we are talking to you about Wormholes, Underwater Cities, and another Quirky Circuits. That was the other one that was escaping my brain.
Quirky.
Quirky.
It's been quirky.
It was quirking out of my brain.
That's got a little cat.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, I hadn't put the two together.
A little cat robot.
Yeah. Well, technically a little robot with a cat sitting on it.
Yeah, that one.
So shall we start with Quirky Circuits, seeing as we're already talking about that one?
Now, you know what's interesting is this, we talk about this podcast being about tabletop gaming with two players, right?
Yep. That's the general idea.
However, we've played Quirky Circuits. I kept on wanting to call it Quirky Circus because it actually was a bit of a circus to my brain. But we played Quirky Circuits, the two of us, quite a few times, and we really do make an effort to give games a good go before I say, okay, I'm out. And I had to say, okay, I'm out on the Quirky Circuits game because it absolutely twisted my brain inside out. It was this game.
Does it make your circuits go all quirky?
Yes, very quirky. It's a very quirky circuits
game. You
game.
think maybe that's intentional?
Probably. Explain how it works, if you know, so whoever's listening can get an idea why my poor brain went into Quirky Circuits.
So in the game, what you're doing is you are fully cooperative game.
Yes.
Trying to program little robots to do certain tasks. So the introduction of the game is a little kitty cat riding on a robot vacuum, like you see in all those YouTube and Instagram funny videos. And the general idea is each player's dealt a hand of cards, and those cards are the different move commands that you're going to program the robot to do. So you can have a card that moves it forward 2 spaces, and then turns left, and then does a rotate 180 degrees, and then move forward again, and so on and so forth.
And backwards, and left, and right. And if you've got a little
up and
problem
down,
with
and
left
and
and right, upside down, and then...
Because you're moving the miniature on the board, and where the miniature is facing is obviously how it's going to be affected by the cards you play.
That's
so
right.
if the miniature is facing away from me, that's nice and simple, because I play a turn left card, it's going to turn left. If the miniature is facing towards me, now left is right.
Right.
And the twist, which makes it really quirky, is that you are cooperatively having to program this robot. Every player has to play at least one card from their hand, and you're playing the cards face down. So nobody knows exactly what cards have been played. So you're having to, and you're not allowed to communicate what cards have been played,
which
what
is
cards
very
you
difficult.
Have, and it takes great restraints to keep everyone at the table not talking about the cards in their hand.
And so we start making sounds like we do that, and that's not allowed either. And then we, because that's not allowed sound effects, we start trying to do eyes and head movements, and then we start doing this last time we played, which is not a 2-player game, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. But the one lady at the table was slapping her card down on the table, and that meant a certain thing to the rest of us.
She kept on saying, I'm moving this far.
Bang! Down went the card.
So the harder she hit the table, the further we knew she was moving, which is really borderline cheating, but okay.
Yes, because that is communication of a different sort. But before I talk about it, I just quickly remembered something that I want to tell. And that is, I was sitting in the back seat of my grandparents' car, and we were off on a journey somewhere. And my grandmother said to my grandfather, turn left right here. So my grandpa turned right, and she goes, why are you turning right? Okay, because you said turn right here. Well, anyway, that has been a standard joke in the family for years, and that explains what happens to my poor brain with Quirky Circuits. You see, just talking about it. However, even though this is a tabletop board gaming with 2 players, we actually took Quirky Circuits out when we had some friends up. Mm-hmm. And so now it was a group
4
of
players.
4. And the other lady at the table was having the same brain gym problems that I was having, or the circus in the brain, or the twisted circuits, or whichever, the quirky circuits. And it was quite interesting for me because this was a game I'd given up on. But now, there she was, asking her husband, which way, this way or that way? And she keeps showing him his cards.
And which way is it facing? Okay, it's facing... No, which way is it facing now?
And no, you're not allowed to show each other your cards. Yes, we can, because we're married, he says. It was so funny. Anyway, suffice to say that this game brought an enormous amount of fun. I mean, we just laughed and laughed and laughed with all our sound effects.
And that's really the point. The point of this type of game is not hyper strategy, plan out your perfect move and get to the end of the map and achieve all the goals. No, it's have fun. It's those moments of hilarity and brain bending, and you know, you'll play out the sequence of cards and everyone feels super confident because, okay, we've got this now. And then one person just needs to have played a turn left card when it needed to be a turn right card, and everything thereafter goes sideways.
And the sound effects. Oh my goodness. It's like, oh no, poor little kitty cat on the robot is now going backwards into the lamp and smashing it to the ground. And oh my goodness, what fun. So suffice to say about this particular game is that here we are. 90% of our playing time is with 2 players. That's why we dedicated this podcast to 2 players.
Because that's mostly what we experience.
But here we have Quirky Circuits sitting on the shelf, being very sad for itself because I had abandoned it. I said, no more, I cannot.
It is technically playable with 2.
Yes.
In fact, I think it might be easier with 2, actually.
But it was a lot more fun with 4.
You can get in each other's heads a bit more effectively when it's just the 2 of you. But
yeah.
But then it just becomes easy.
Well, it became, you see, Jamie says, oh, well, then it becomes easy. For me, that was not the case, not at any point. You know what I was doing when it was just the 2 of us? I was just putting any card down. It was like, okay, let's see what this cat does or this robot does. I don't even know anymore. And I was just putting cards down. But this other game, when we played recently with the 4 of us, I was finding I was more involved with making more informed decisions, especially when the other lady at the table was going, this, and no more talking, this. Oh my goodness, it was funny. And there was other things that were happening. She was like slapping it down and then making these long drawn out word. And then we had to, I'm going to put this card down. Oh my goodness. It really was hilarious. And then we played another game with the 4 of us, which we had actually only acquired literally the day before. And you might know by now from this podcast that we are pretty thorough researchers. We're not spontaneous or impulsive buyers. We look at it and we think about it. And we look, okay, we go to the stats and we see how many games we've got at that level difficulty.
Even when we spot something on sale, we still go and study it up and down the yin-yang to figure it out if it's a good one for us.
Because we don't actually want to buy a game and leave it sitting on the shelf because we just feel we don't like it. It's just, for us, that doesn't work for us. So we had researched this game Wormholes. We spotted it and it caught our attention. Why? Because the name was interesting. Secondly,
space.
We saw it was a space game, and that is something that really is a bit of a magnet for us. So we have to look at it carefully, research. We watched some videos and we thought, the more we looked into it, the more we liked it. So what did we do? We bought it. We got it the day before our friends arrived. And then we played it and we thought, oh, this is actually very nice. It's kind of a light, medium-ish kind of game. We thought this would be nice for showing new people. And we were really interested in it. And then they came and they saw it on the table. And they said, oh, let's give this a whirl. And then we played it again and again and again because we thoroughly enjoyed it. We just kept on playing it. I mean, obviously.
I think we played it like 3 times in a row.
Yes.
Well, basically, in Wormholes, what you're doing is it's kind of an abstract set collection game. So you've got this grid map of a galaxy, and in the galaxy you've got different planets. And at the beginning of the game, each player's dealt a certain number of cards, and those cards have pictures of the planets on the board. And you've got to fly your ship adjacent to the planet, and then you can drop off that card, which represents passengers. And then each card you drop off is worth 2 points for the end of the game. So you're trying to navigate around this board and drop off your passengers.
So I like that part, that we're flying passengers around the galaxy and dropping them off at the different planets. It's very futuristic thinking. I enjoy that fantasy. Yeah.
And that might sound a little bit basic, but then the wrinkle comes that this is the far-flung future, and we figured out how to generate wormholes and rip holes in space-time. So now, as we're flying around the board, you can drop off these little wormhole tokens. Each player has a little stack of them. So you'll have a 1 token and you'll have 2 1 tokens, 2 2 tokens, 2 3 tokens, etc. And the first token you drop off is the first move you do on your turn. And then as you fly out, you can drop off your other tokens around the map.
So you could drop off one wormhole token at Saturn, for example, and then off to Jupiter and drop another one.
And then now you've got a wormhole connecting those 2 planets. So now, as a free move, you can move from your 1 wormhole to your other 1 wormhole.
And if one of your other players at the table would like to use your wormhole, they're very welcome to, and you get a point.
And they pay you 1 point to do so. Well, they don't pay you, you just get 1 point.
And you know what happened?
Whenever somebody uses your wormhole.
Yes, you know what happened? Nobody used any of my wormholes. I was putting wormholes, everybody going, hello, everybody, please use my wormholes. But nobody used my wormholes. And one of the other people at the table, everybody needed to use her wormholes
I think she got
all
like
the
14 points just from wormhole uses or something.
That was a lot of fun.
So yeah, it's deceptively involved. So basically on the surface of it, it's very easy to dive into, very light apparently. And it starts out that way, but then with each subsequent play, you can get more and more and more strategic with it. So it really is, I think, boiled down to it, quite an abstract strategy type game. But the theme, I think, just really fleshes it out and finishes it and gives it a very nice feel.
I agree. And we just had a lot of fun with it. But you know what I want to do is I want to hop back to Quirky Circuits and the little kitty on the robot, because I wanted to talk about this digital game that you've been preparing.
Which is called Quilts Cats of Calico. So it's the digital implementation spin-off game from the board game Calico, which I have not yet played, so I can't speak to the physical game experience. But yeah, I've recently been playing the digital version, which is essentially at its core an abstract tile laying pattern matching game.
And you're going to do a video of that, like a bit of a show and tell type of thing.
Overview, how to play, show all
experiences.
The bits. And so it's a very cute game. Basically, you're thematically, you're sewing a quilt together and you're trying to attract the most cats to your quilt to get the most points.
And the graphics are good. And little kitty
little animated cats walking around, and you get to, there's a lovely little story, choose your own adventure kind of thing. So you can play out this narrative, and each chapter of the narrative gives you different challenges. So you'll be given like a half-made quilt that you now have to finish with very specific tiles, and
so that the cats will like it.
Yeah.
Got to please the cats.
So it's a very, very pretty, very cute experience. And it's something I've been enjoying quite a bit recently, is these digital versions of tabletop games. So where they've taken a game that you know and love, like I've played quite a lot of the Wingspan one, interestingly, done by the same developers who have made Quilts Cats of Calico.
Okay.
And it's just a nice, different experience to the physical game to playing it digitally. I would say I still prefer playing a game physically overall.
I can't really comment because I don't play digital games, and I'm not even tasked or in any way interested in playing digital games, because I just like to have a break from the digital side of life.
So that's one of the main reasons to play tabletop games, is
to get away
from screens and tech and everything.
So because of the fact that I found that I have enough of it in a day, so I quite like to get to the physical tabletop game. So I can't really comment on how I feel about my experience on digital versus tabletop, because I don't do digital. But now you're doing both.
Well, you've watched me play this one, so...
Oh, yeah, I find it... I mean, I think it's absolutely adorable. It's so, so cute. And the fact that you can even be a cat creator now. You, from an artistic point of view, you can go and create a cat and decide
they've
what
got a
kind
little
of cat
widget
and,
add-on that you can go in and craft, customize your own cats and
make your own
give
character.
them funny hats and make them all colors of the rainbow.
So, I mean, one thing about tabletop gaming that has always been a thing for me from the very beginning, and that is I find myself thinking of the designer and the developer and the artist and the creator. And my mind is always blown by how much they've put into the game, whoever they are. And now, for example, looking at this digital game that you've been preparing to make a video for, my mind is blown. It's just like, wow, look at who's done that. And look at the hours put into it and the thought. And I just think it's pretty incredible. I enjoy just the creation of it. For me, as an experience in itself.
Yeah, and they've really gone the extra mile with this one. You could easily just digitize the tabletop game and you drag tiles around and put them in patterns and things, but they've added these extra layers. There's lovely animations, lovely soundtrack.
And a
there's
story.
the cats, that
And
walk
artwork.
around it. So instead of just having these cats that you attract to your board represented by a token that goes on your board, there's actual little animated cats that are walking around and curling up, and you can pet them and stroke them and they purr.
That's amazing. Very clever. Very good.
So that is Quilts and Cats of Calico. Watch this space for a video coming soon to the channel. And recently, last week in fact, I did a unboxing, organizing type video for Underwater Cities, one of my all-time favorites, even though we don't review games on this channel. Just had to get that in there.
And we talk about two-player game, playing board games with 2 players, and today we've been talking about playing board games with 4 players. So
Or 1 player.
we're just crossing all the lines today.
Breaking all our own rules.
Or 1 player, it's a digital.
Yeah.
But Underwater Cities, you've done an explainer video for that that's coming out next week, isn't it?
Next week, Friday, yes. As of the recording of this podcast, which is in the middle of March some way.
And all I say is that if you haven't watched the explainer videos, you might as well just watch them, because they're just so good to watch. Because, I mean, the underwater cities and all those components and those little domes and the pieces, the game is just brilliant.
Yeah,
I mean,
and we went the extra mile with it by printing out our own custom 3D insert thingy to keep all those lovely bits organized.
Hence the unboxing video, to show people all the inserts that you did, as well as just all the nice components. So that video, as I'm saying, if people, those who are listening, if you haven't watched one of the explainer videos, I'm here to remind you that it's a good idea to go watch one. Just because, just like I think about this digital game and how amazing it is, I think of the same with the explainer videos you do. I just think they're incredible because they're so informative and interesting and educational and fascinating and lots of good things. So to me, they're a good experience to go and watch one. So you
and thank you for that word from our sponsor.
Jamie's just smiling at me while I'm telling you about this. I'm allowed to blow your trumpet, Jamie. You just mustn't blow your own trumpet. Yeah, I'll blow it for you. No, but I mean, I wouldn't if it wasn't worth blowing. So, I'll blow your trumpet for you because I think it's worth it, because I'm not just biased just because I'm your mother. I've heard people and I see the comments and they're all good. They say, thank you for this wonderful video. So there you go. It's not just me. So what else were we going to talk about today?
I think that was it.
Oh, good. That means I can go put the kettle on.
Yeah.
Not that I don't like talking to the people. I do like talking to them. Otherwise, we wouldn't do a podcast.
Would you like drinking tea more?
I like both. But I do have to go put the kettle on.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm off to do that, and I'm going to say cheerio to everybody until next podcast. Bye.
And so remember to keep your eyes peeled for those videos coming soon. That Quilts and Cats of Calico video coming relatively soon. I'm not exactly sure when. And the Underwater Cities explainer tutorial playthrough. I did a solo playthrough. And I also included the New Discoveries expansion in that video. So if you want to see how that plays and whether it's a good game for you or not, that video will be coming soon to the channel. And if you've enjoyed this episode of the podcast, we would greatly appreciate your support over on Patreon or by becoming a YouTube channel member. You can just search out patreon.com/thatboardgameshow or head over to YouTube and you'll see the little join button right under the videos. And we also have merch that you can buy on the YouTube channel. You will see them listed underneath all the videos. T-shirts, mugs, apparel, etc. And every little cent and every little dollar that comes from those really just helps us to keep this show on the road and keep the content coming. And by way of thank you, we give you little extra bonus episodes and behind-the-scenes content and that sort of thing. And with that, I shall say thank you ever so much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the show.